You don't have a presentation.
Serra is everybody's business. Everybody's business. So I have three gentlemen that are going to come up and talk about the great things that are happening in their club and how they keep their members, and Bob and Peter and Dan.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dan Dykus. I'm the VP of Membership for the St. Louis Club. And Candice was kind enough to recruit me yesterday afternoon to be on this panel. We've had several great speakers from St. Louis of Sister Nunez, the Archbishop, Father Ritter, Father Hazing. I think, well, 4 out of 5 St. Louises are great speakers, and I'm the 5th one. So, given those late recruiting and fear of public speaking, I'll do my best. So we do have I'll just tell a little bit about the St. Louis Club first, and then some of the things that we do and are doing. So we have a successful club in St. Louis. They're all Serra clubs are successful in their own way. So in the Archdiocese of St. Louis, there are 2 Serra clubs. One is St. Louis Serra Club, and we have about 210 members. The second Serra Club is St. Charles, which is another metropolitan area right next to St. Louis, and they probably have 30 or 40 members, and Suzanne here can fact check me on anything. She's our former president. And we don't, so the St. Charles Club is kind of across the Missouri River, so it's a little bit of a divide, but there are many parishes over there. The Archdiocese of St. Louis probably has, I kind of lose track because we had a parish, all things new project. Our bishop brought that underway, where many parishes were collapsed, merged, and eliminated. So I think we probably have around 120 parishes. So in the St. Louis Archdiocesan Club, we have probably about 90 parishes that feed into our club. So the Archdiocese is 10 counties, so it's pretty big geography also. So out of the 210 members, we meet bi-monthly, so twice a month at a local restaurant. We pay dues of $300 a year, and some of the dues would support international Serra, but most of the dues go to pay for our bi-monthly lunches. So, and the lunches are at noon. And out of our 210 members or so, we get 80 to 90 people attending. Many more people are active in different ways, but attending the meetings, about 90 or so people there. And they're great lunches. They have a first-class meal. So the dues pay for these lunches, and we only have one lunch or one meeting this month. So probably 20 lunches per year, 20 meetings per year. And our meetings always start with a rosary, and we'll first take petitions from people, so asking for prayers about fellow Serrans or family members, so we pray for each other. We pray the rosary together, led by one of our Serrans. Then we have a short business meeting talking about upcoming events, looking for volunteers and things that are going on. Then we have lunch, and then we'll have a speaker. We have our program VP just brings in outstanding speakers. I think I saw in some of the notes, most of our speakers, Regino said, most speakers are priests or women religious, and then we have some lay leaders also. So we hear a lot about the vocation stories, and just also in some religious inspirational stories as well. So it really engages our people. There's a lot of social aspect to our meetings. The business portion of it is probably 10% of the meeting. But we get a lot done in a short period of time. So we've been doing that for many, many years. We're very blessed in the St. Louis area, blessed by where we are now, to have facilities like this for us. But you saw from our speakers, Archbishop is very supportive of Serra. Father Ritter, very supportive of Serra. He's got a project coming up that I really can't speak about because he gave us a little bit of a heads up on it, of work he's going to be doing with the priests to help engage them more, get them involved in a lot of pastoral activities, and he's going to be advocating for leaning on Serra. So we're looking for the ability to connect with the parishes much more tightly through the advocation from the Presbyterian, which is tremendous. And then we have great support from the Kendrick Lennon Seminary through Father Ritter, Father Hazing, the president rector, we met for many years as a board at the seminary, but then due to space reasons, this year we're meeting at the Archdiocesan offices, which are a former seminary, so also very beautiful. So again, we're just very blessed with the support we have from the Catholic hierarchy here, but it's a very Catholic area in general. St. Louis, probably 25% Catholic in general, but so we don't have to really fight that battle, if you will, of who we are. People understand Catholicism. So what do we do? I think I was kind of inspired listening to Bishop Daly. He just had all these alliterations. Even though somebody said always avoid alliteration, I like to use it anyway. So I was thinking, really, for membership, it's kind of recruit, rejoice, and retain. So I was trying to organize myself in the short period of time that I had to give a little update of what we do. So as far as recruiting, it's mainly word of mouth and personal invitation. That is our best method of getting new members. If somebody who is a joyful Serran invites one of their friends or peers or children, we have some children of Serrans who are members also. We have a strong presence at many Catholic events. So the Catholic Men for Christ and Catholic Women for Christ are very large Catholic conferences that are held once a year, and we have a booth there where we give out Serra materials, which is materials in Spanish and English. Just anything you saw in the vendor show across the hallway or upstairs across the hallway, we have all that out, and we've got many members from that. We support at the summit. If you heard Sister Nunez talking about the middle school conference, we are there. There's probably 15 different religious orders that are there, and then Serra that have booths. So we are really welcomed, again, to be standing right next to the religious orders to support their vocations. We started having, relatively recently, Donut Sundays, calling to different parishes that don't have Serrans, and we'll sponsor free donuts after every Mass, and we again give out donuts, or we always give out donuts. We give out, that we call it Donut Sunday. We give out Serra materials, and we've gotten several applications from that as well. We have, a couple of years ago, we developed this little business card. So it's obviously hard to see, and because I was just recruited late, I need to bring a bunch with me. So it just has the Serra mission on it, and to learn more about Serra, call. Here's a email address and a QR code just to go to our website. It's just a simple way. So we give these out. I put these on our tables every meeting we have. People take them, and then they just give them out to friends or neighbors or wherever they leave them. So this has given us a few leads also. Just a very cheap advocacy. So that's how, again, recruiting is pretty much soft recruiting, if we will. We don't have big drives. We have drives through word of mouth. And we have out of our 90 parishes, probably 75% of our members come from 10 or 12 of those parishes, and one parish, probably 25% of our members come from one parish. Just have a person who's just a great advocate for Serra. So we're trying to reach those other parishes. Many of them have never even heard of Serra before. They don't even confuse us with Sierra because they don't even know we exist. So we're working to get ourselves known a little bit better out there. So how do we retain people? It's really tied in with the Rejoice. So the things that we do, we have many activities we do. We have a annual Serra night at the ballpark, so we can buy
2 more minutes.
2 more minutes. Ooh. We buy several hundred tickets, and then we give as many tickets as any of the religious orders or the priests want. So we sponsor them to come to a Cardinals game for free, and then we sell them to Serrans at a reduced rate. So we again get a strong presence in the entire metropolitan area from that. We have Christmas Mass at the Basilica. I hope you got to see our Basilica sitting with the Mass said by the Archbishop, and then we have dinner with the Archbishop. We have an annual dinner with the Archbishop, which is a fundraiser, which we advertise to our Serrans. Only 50 Serrans go. I think it's $200 a ticket, but that helps to support the baseball. We have mass and breakfast at the seminaries, about 4 times a year, where we just join them for mass, their daily mass, and then we go have breakfast and just sit at the tables, and then the seminarians come and sit with us. It's just a great way to connect with the seminarians, and they really enjoy our presence and hearing about what we do. And lastly, as I said, a lot of prayers for each other. And the last big thing that I think we do, there's so much other stuff we do, is we have a day of reflection. We're also blessed in the St. Louis area to have the Aquinas Institute, which is a Dominican seminary, if you will. So they train their Dominicans for the province of St. Albert the Great. So it's kind of the middle part of the country. A full day out there with 2 conferences, mass, confessions, and lunch. And again, they're very welcoming to us. So again, we have a lot of activities that we do with our Serrans Engaged fundraiser, golf outing, trivia night. And as far as retention, when somebody's not paying dues, we follow up to see what's going on. Is there a health issue? Is there some other issue? I like to say we've never lost a member due to service. Nobody says, I don't like Serra, I don't like your club. They just have other things going on, and we try to retain them. But if they have a health issue and they can't come, that's obviously their decision. So thank you for that long spiel.
I'm sorry, we were.
Remember, at the end, we will take questions, right?
That's true, right.
Okay, my name is Bob Spinagle. I'm from Serra Club northeast of Houston. We get it because that's west or east of where Candice's club is. So
You're the president.
and I'm the president of the club, and then I'm going to be the District 10 governor. And so we'll see how that works out. But our club we have 6 parishes in our club. The problem is 3 of them are Hispanic, and pretty much Hispanic in nature, and we've had a very difficult time, bringing them in. And we have a cultural person on our board, but she hasn't had any success in reaching it. And so anyhow, we're working on it, but that's one of our goals in our club. But we only have 66 members, so we're not a very big club. But we get 80% of our people every week. So
Wow.
That's because you have your meetings at a restaurant. They can't hold many more. We
Right.
have those meetings for how many
Right.
years now?
yeah, we've had meetings at this restaurant, and they happen to be a Catholic family. And they actually have 4 other restaurants. It's called Italianos. But they have very good food. They're very good to us. They charge us $20, which includes the gratuity. But they put out stuff like we've been having here. I mean, for our Monday evening. So we meet the 4th Monday of every month. And
Cash bar.
oh yeah, another thing is our person that organizes all this stuff. By the way, her name is Diddy Muck, but her real name is Mary Grace Muck, and she's from Mary Grace Bell from Kansas City. So she's got and I guess her father used to be a district governor or something. And so she's very good. She's the heartbeat of our club. She makes our club work. So I got to give her credit. She would walk out of the room right now if I said that. But anyhow, so she negotiated with the restaurant. Instead of them selling us wine at $6 a glass, we could bring our own bottles and sell them for $5 a glass, and we keep all the money. We keep all the profit. So if we have any shortfalls or we need whatever it is in a meal that or in that month's gathering, it covers that. So it works out really good. And we have a lot of fun with it. I don't know if any of y'all know, there's actually a St. Serra wine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, seriously, $6 a bottle at Kroger in our neighborhood. But
It's really good. It's really
good. It's really good wine, and they have white and they have red.
Yeah.
And but it tells the story, and the story also says not only did he do the missions in California, he started the wine business in California. He's responsible for
For California having wine.
for California having wine. That's right. So anyhow, we have our monthly meeting at this restaurant, and what happens is Diddy sends out a note to everybody in the club, and then if they don't respond, she calls them to see if they need a ride or if they're sick or that sort of thing. So she's following up with them to make sure that they will, if they didn't RSVP, maybe they need some help getting there. And we have a couple of older than me people that don't drive anymore, so they need to get to the club or get to the meeting. And so she arranges all that. Some of the other things we do, we work closely with the Office of Vocations. Father Richard, who is the vocations director, it's really funny. We have a huge parish. I forgot this. I don't know if I said that, but we have 8,000 families in our parish.
Whoa.
And so,
Texas big.
yeah, so it's like 24,000 people. That's why 66 is not very good for all those people. But we have a huge Knights of Columbus, and we got over 100 ministries in our church, so people are really spread out. But it is a very big church, so we have a lot to draw from. And our pastor is the former director of vocations, and so we have a lot to go to call on. So, but we support the vocations office. We also have we support the annual seminarian parents' dinner. So new incoming seminarians and their parents are invited to dinner. We pay for it, we service it, we take care of the whole thing. We just have it at the cemetery. Seminary. It's a cemetery for us.
Eventually you get to the cemetery. Down the line.
That's twice I've done it. I've got to get that word down. But it's really fun, and we try to get new people to take part in it. You know, some of the old people take part in it, but we're not allowed to have very many people because they want to keep it. It's not for the Serrans. It's for the seminarian parents, really, to become comfortable with their young men going into the seminary. We do altar server dinners. We do Andrew dinners. We handle the food. We have a pre-seminarian basketball game in our diocese, and that was actually started by the pastor of our church when he was the director of vocations, because he thought that was a way to get young people, young men especially, interested. Because we'll go to a basketball game. We're going to watch the priests and the seminarians beat up on each other, and they do. It's very competitive. I mean, as a matter of fact, last year one of the priests pulled out his whole arm.
Oh,
and he got a little aggressive going to the basket. But anyhow, it's a fun event. People come from all over town, and they have it at Rice University, which seats about 5,000 people. So it's a good event for the whole diocese, really. We do our club is very artistic. We have 2 women that are outstanding decorators, and so we decorate for most of the functions, big functions at in the archdiocese. We also have another person in our parish. She's also our VP of vocation. She has written 4 books for young children. It's called Gospels for Little Ones. And so she's gone to various parts of the country and actually made presentations in Minnesota, in Oregon, and all over different Tennessee, and she was on ESPN, EWTN, ESPN. So she would be on ESPN if they had. But these books are really cool. They're for little children. I think she had 9 children herself, so she kind of understands that. But all the money, the net money that she raises, she doesn't keep a penny. It all is dedicated to the seminary. And we have to go to the director and ask him, what kind of program can you come up with? And last year, it was really the first year we approached him, and we did a Quo Vadis retreat for the middle school boys, and it was really kind of done at the last minute. So it was very successful. I think they had about 30 young men, and the hope is that this year they'll get 100, and they'll build on it. But we also have, what's her name, Rhonda Grimwald in Houston, and she does a lot of this kind of stuff too. She's not in our club. She should be, because we can use it. And then we also support the Shalom Center, and it's basically I don't want to call it a recovery center, but a retreat center for clergy that need to be away from their jobs and to be to regenerate, and so when they're there, they don't have their cars to get around. And this place is out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's 60, 70 miles from downtown Houston, and it's in the country. So we provide services like if they have to go to the doctor, dentist, whatever. We go and pick them up, bring them to wherever they go. So we do that. We try to keep involved with that. We do have a monthly adoration in benediction for vocations, and that's been it's not, we only get about 30 people, which is kind of disappointing. We have it in our big church that seats about 2,000 people, and we only have 35 people in there, but at least we keep it going. We have 2 people that run it that are very dedicated. We do the Newman Center connection. We sign up kids that are graduating from high school. So the kind of the last mass before graduation each year, we get out in the narthex of the church, and we get all the kids that are going. We find out where they're going to go to school, get them to sign a card, and then we send that information off to the place that they're going to go to school. So hopefully they'll have some kind of contact, because that seems to be where a lot of the kids fall away. We also have another lady that's an artist, and she was our original president of our company. She's the one that got it started, and she does sacred art painting and creates these cards. But they're just you wouldn't believe how good they are. And then we can sell those and raise money, and she doesn't take any money for it. So we have, like I said, we have some very, very wonderful people. We have a fantastic newsletter. I just wanted to show it to you. I don't know if anybody else has really good newsletters, but this is the PDF printout, and so this is kind of.
And you have that digital also?
Yeah, we have it digital. Yeah.
Wow.
So she prepares it. She was one of our past presidents, but it just has kind of everything that's going on. She gets as many pictures in there as she can of different events. I think Candice might even be in there because she came to our Christmas party.
And your club won 3 times.
Yeah.
You kept winning the best newsletter.
Yeah, we kept on winning the best newsletter. So
Is she the one who's always been doing it?
no, she's the second person to do it, but she's been doing it now for about the last 3 or 4 years. And by the way, her husband is a deacon, and for adoration, we used to pay deacons so that they would have to offset expenses. And he got all the other deacons to volunteer their time to do the adoration, so we didn't. So that saved an expense of the club. So we also have enrichment trips. Oh, we provide the vesting for ordinations. We go down to the cathedral and vest up. Usually about 250 priests for most sort of things that go on. So it's really kind of a real crazy time. But it's a lot of fun because you meet a lot of the priests and they get into conversations. It was really cool. Last year at the ordination, they were all getting reassigned. And so they were in a room vesting up and talking, well, I'm going here. I never thought I'd have to be in a country town. And so it's a lot of fun to do those sort of things. We have enrichment trips for the club members. We, of course, go to the cathedral, the vocations office. And then in our area, we have these things called painted churches. And they're old churches that have been renovated, and they've got all this really cool painting. And so we've gone to those, and so there's I think 7 of them, and it's a long day, but we've done that. We have a Club Day of Reflection retreat coming up. I've almost done, and that's coming up here on the 31st. Actually, we do 7 serons. We promote. Well, I talked about the book sales. Okay, and we do. Oh, we send out. We support ordination anniversary parties. We do spiritual bouquets for religious, and we get a lot of great comments back from the men and women both. We have the annual recommitment mass and dinner in one of our members' homes. We do that at Christmas, and then we recommit for the next year as a club. And so you may ask, how is this done? Okay, we have 14 board members, and they're all dedicated to vocations. And each one serves a 2-year term, and we try to make sure they all stagger. And then like I said, we have Diddy Muck, who really makes our club. She's like the little engine that could, and she just makes our club go. And I think it's important to have somebody like that. I don't know how a club could function if they didn't have that kind of person as well as we do, anyhow. So.
Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right.
All right, we saved the least for last. So my name is Peter Jude, I'm the past president of the Serra Club of Miami. Kimberly Rocha is here. She's our current president, and we're fortunate because her husband will be our new president come this summer. So I think we don't do all the things that you've heard done, but we do some important things, I think. And when I got heavily involved about 6 years ago and became president, one of the struggles we had, and I guess really that I'd like to speak to, is growing the club from basically there were 9 members, and my mother was 96, and then we had 80-year-olds. So we basically were aging out. So what we initially did, fortunately, the Council of Catholic Women, there were a number of members from that, and in particular, some that were instrumental in getting some of their members to join the Serra Club. And then what we really worked to do at that point was to grow the membership through membership drives. And I think that really was something that I know with Candice and the membership committee we talked about and worked on putting together a little cheat sheet, if you will, for how to successfully do a membership drive. Because it isn't really just putting an ad or something, a notice in the bulletin, but what we really wanted to do was to go to parishes that the pastors were open to actively promoting people to join. So we actually started at one parish, actually it's Kimberly's parish, where the pastor at the beginning of Mass stated, and he actually did most every Mass that weekend, 7 of them between the Vigil and Sunday Masses. And stated that, we were blessed to have here today with us the Serra Club of Miami, who is critical in helping us grow vocations. So he would say that, and then during the special intentions, recognize the Serra Club again, and at the end of Mass, he really said, please stop by the table, I'll be standing there. And so he came and stood at the back at the table. But also what was critical was finding people in that parish. And so Kimberly and her husband and others that were parishioners of that parish, some were in charge of the collections. I think we had one of the past sacristans. So they were people that were known there. So if you go set up a table in a parish where nobody knows you're that dangerous table that's going to ask you to join or do something. Where what happened was, besides having a pastor there, people came over and started speaking with Kimberly or one of the others, and then in turn, said, "Oh, I'm a member of the Serra Club. Here's some information to share." And like I said, because the pastor was there, we actually had one weekend. That weekend, we had 44 new members join. Which was great, but I guess the other thing I'd segue to is retention. So now we're up to like 154 people, and now I'm the treasurer, so I'm working on renewals. But if we don't engage the members, and there's time, talent, treasure, there's those people that want to pray and they'll never come to a meeting, which is fine, but you got to make them feel comfortable with that. So one of the things we do, and we're blessed because about, 7 years ago, we moved our meetings to the seminary. So we meet in the refectory, their cafeteria, and then we get access to the chapel as well. And then our director of vocations for the Archdiocese of Miami is extremely supportive. So we did this last week, our induction ceremony for the new members. But one of the things I guess I would say that we did after the very successful membership drive was we then had a follow-up meeting 2 weeks later. We invited all those that had joined from that parish to their parish hall, and the pastor came and he gave a blessing and a thanks for everybody joining. But then we went through the process of saying, look, you've joined Serra, and a lot of them, what is it? What can we do? How can we get involved? So Kimberly and others from that parish were very good about saying, these are the things we do. So we have successfully established and adopt a seminarian, which is extremely popular because, and one of the things we always try to point out, it's whatever level of comfort that seminarian has in that relationship being adopted. But having that opportunity along with activities throughout the year, that what we have, obviously we have a board for the club, but we have vice chairs. And these vice chairs are in charge of all these different events throughout the year. And they then establish a committee. So what we did was we had the vice chairs for those different events speak about what they did, and then afterwards they could come sign up and participate in that committee. So we do a Christmas dinner, home cooked Christmas dinner for religious, and we have that at the seminary. So the religious communities all come, the brothers and the sisters, to that. So there are those people like to cook, right? So they signed up for that. Also, we have
They actually serve them too.
they actually serve, right? So we don't let them carry their own plates. We insist on carrying them for them. So it really has that personal touch. And the best part at the end is we get together and sing Christmas songs. And there's one order of sisters, the Sisters of Purest Hearts of Jesus and Mary, that are a large number, and they help with a lot of the singing. But then there's orders that are from other countries that speak in their language, sing in their language, the Christmas songs, and it is truly beautiful. But what I was also going to mention is a lot of times, as I say, when I go and ask an individual email, it's time for renewal of your membership dues, I include the president's report, which Kimberly did a great job of last year, that lists all the things we did and the success that we had with them. So I say, thanks to your membership and your support and continued support, we've been able to achieve all of these, whether you've directly or indirectly participated in them. So then I go on, and if someone says, look, I really haven't been able to attend a meeting, or I can't, or whatever, I say, well, we have a critical committee that we need help with. Would you consider it? They go, what is it? And I said, it's this Seven Serrans Prayer Committee, which we need people to pray for directors of vocations, in particular dioceses around the country where there's no Serra Club. Can you pray? Well, yeah, I pray all the time. So, but can you commit to pray for that one day for this? So then we get the bios on those vocation directors, and now they're a committee member, right? So they have the buy-in that even though they're never going to maybe attend a meeting, we had one actually, Kimberly's husband's sister. She was never able to attend a meeting, but let me tell you, she was the most loving and special person that was a member and prayed so hard that it really gave an opportunity for her to be engaged in her own way. And I think that's really the key with everything, as we've heard people talk in reference to engaging, is finding out why am I a member, and then acting on that and giving them that opportunity. And then I'll just finish up by saying thanks to Jesse. Jesse's been instrumental in helping us struggle with what others have shared they've struggled with. And that's a community of dual language in particular. In Miami-Dade County, our Archbishop actually, he was initially put in a community, a Haitian community, so he actually learned Creole, which is very French type language. And then the dominant is Hispanic. So working with Jesse, and one we're struggling with, but I think we're getting close, maybe Kimberly, right, is to how do we address that, right? So you mentioned doing things bilingual, so we've looked at that. We've looked at, maybe breaking up to separate groups to do the presentations, but coming together as a club, because you're one club for our committee meetings, and then you've mentioned the satellite program. So those are some of the things we're looking at, but what was critical was the cultural outreach, which was called Hispanic outreach. So, as has been stated, and Dan mentioned his card, right, that little card. So we adopted that 3 or 4 years ago with a QR code. So if, after Mass we're doing a membership drive, if nothing else, we ask you, can you pray for vocations, please? And it has the prayer. But on the other side, it has a QR code and then information about the club. So they say, I wonder, what was that all about? I can pray the prayer, but who is that organization? They're not tree huggers, right? So Jesse, thank you for that. And we look forward to continuing to work towards being successful, because in Miami-Dade County, it's over 60% Hispanic, many bilingual, but there are those parishes that are dominant Spanish speaking. And I think Jesse's put it well, and my wife is Hispanic, but praying in your own language. So when you go to translate something like you mentioned, where in Mexico, the translation that they came up with was pepper or something.
Yeah.
So it's critical to reach them and make them comfortable with praying in their language that then makes them supportive of what they're doing. So
mom's dream come true. Tell me about it.
Okay, so you know the traveling crucifix? Apparently in Miami, back when the seminary was established 65 years ago, they were celebrating 65 years this year. The bishop, wasn't arch, he was bishop at the time, so we need a Serra Club. So within 1 year after that, so we're 64 years old, they established the Serra Club. Because he said we need someone to be praying. At that time, obviously, it was dominant men, then became women. But one of the things that all parishes had was a vocation prayer chalice program. And so with not just COVID, put the nail in the coffin for a while, but a lot of parishes, it went away. So one of my mom's and dad, but my mom in particular's goals was to help reestablish those in the parishes. So we were allowed to speak to the principals at the principals meeting back in February. And we offered them a free vocation prayer chalice in a beautiful cabinet that we worked to get made. And then the National Vocational Awareness Week curriculum kits. So we offered that for free. And what we did was use a QR code to just pass it around. All they did was do that and did a Google Doc. Almost every single one received a vocation prayer chalice in the curriculum kit. So I think that we're up to 49 out of 50-some parishes. So we're doing a follow-up on that. It was beautiful, but there's never enough.
So does this happen at a church or at the school?
The schools. So one of my things my mom felt very strongly about was that, we have the vocation prayer chalice that goes to people's homes, right, at Mass, but to be in the school, to have the youth that are, our potential future religious. Because, it's always, my kid's going to grow up to be a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, or whatever, a teacher. But we wanted them to be aware of religious, and unfortunately there are many Catholic schools that don't even have religious at all in the schools, like my wife's school. Until 2 years ago, there's 2 sisters that are in their 20s now that teach religion, but seeing that is so beautiful. So yes, thank you, Kimberly, for mentioning that, because that's been tremendous, the vocation prayer chalice in the school, because every time they change classes, they're supposed to start with a prayer, so that chalice goes from classroom to classroom a week at a time throughout the school year. And so they all pray, but in particular, for those classrooms that have it that week, they do the vocation prayer. And there's a little prayer card that we give them. And for the ones that go to the parishes, we actually give them a prayer booklet. And there's a prayer for each day. And we give them that template if they choose to have that printed.
You have 49 Catholic schools?
49, well, it was 55, including the high schools. So there was a large number of them that, we've been very fortunate that they continue to exist, because
you raised the funds to buy all those?
So that was my parents established a charitable trust. So they gave, I think it's $10 or $12,000 that we used then to have these made. But then we needed the opportunity to distribute them. So we had one of the principals that had retired that knew the superintendent of the Catholic schools that allowed us to come speak to them for the 10 minutes. And they were, free. Like free? The price is right.
Yes. Hi, Peter. I'm Ann from Toronto.
Toronto.
Yeah, you didn't talk about what happens with the club itself. You have a monthly meeting?
Oh, sorry. I said just real briefly. We do have a monthly membership meeting at the seminary. We have a monthly Zoom board meeting. And then 2 or 3 times a year, we're blessed to be able to go to the seminary, have Mass with them, and then stay for their brunch. And then throughout the year, we have, Priesthood Sunday. We recognize and we send cards to all the priests, all priests, not just the pastors. And sometimes what we try to do is, again, to engage people at a membership meeting, we bring the cards and we say, take 5 cards and write a message to the priest. So we do Priesthood Sunday, the Christmas dinner for religious, the altar servers, award ceremony is a big one where we had the Archbishop or the auxiliary bishop. And one time, actually, they brought their certificate they got from the altar service awards from Serra back in 1960s.
Oh, wow.
Seriously, it was so impactful. And we partnered with Fort Lauderdale, which is actually called Broward County Serra Club. and we do it jointly with them. So I think we had like 120, although I feel bad because Texas had like 500. But anyhow, it was great that we had that. And of course, we have Catholic Sisters Week, Brothers Day, and what am I missing, Kimberly? Adopt a Seminarian,
World Day of Consecrated Life.
World Day of Consecrated Life, Adopt a Seminarian, Seventh Serra and Purity. I mean, there's so much more that we can do, but as we recover from being small, we look at those to do. So
Very good.
it's been great.
So let me clarify, the 500 altar servers were from, we have 145 parishes.
See, there's the reason. I knew it.
Where do we get the chalice? Is it?
So that's been a struggle. I got it from India, sent to my house, 50 of them, and then Hobby Lobby makes these acrylic cabinets, and then I went to the Boy Scouts, and they make the wood base, and it's a real challenge. I mean, Barbara knows, she was trying to help me locate. So the crucifix is an easy one, but the chalice, what we originally did, which my mom wanted to start, we actually bought the chalice and just gave them the chalice in the traveling kit, the box. Of course, one pastor says to me, it looks like a bomb kit, so I'm not going to hand that. So he hands it. But I'm going to go back to him now and give him the cabinet we've been able to successfully get. We are doing 100 of them. But I really had to find someone that would make them. And that is the challenge. But there are, I mean, it's not rocket science. I mean, I'd be glad to share around the sources. It's doable.
What about Knights of Columbus?
Knights of Columbus, so...
Chalice's memorial.
Right, so they actually do a very special one, and they did that in Miami. I think they did 5 at one time, and the Archbishop came and blessed them as they were distributed. What we did when we had the ones for the schools, we brought them to the seminary for our meeting, and we had our chaplain bless all of them at one time. Kimberly has a picture of it, and then from there they were distributed, and we told them these have been blessed at the seminary by the director of vocations for the archdiocese. So, I think the schools were very appreciative of that because, they're challenged, right, with how not just to educate the kids, math, reading, science, whatever, but to form them in the Catholic faith. And I just think this visualizes it. And it's a very simple cabinet, but it's just so beautiful.
So you had 45 chalices? 45, did you say?
Right, I'm in the
Maybe.
process.
And so who are you giving all of them to? The schools?
The schools. And then what our director of vocations did, Kimberly, it was part of the help for this, is that he actually wrote a letter that they have their email list, right, that we can't have, which is fine, but he was willing to send that letter out, and again, it had a QR code, and it came to a Google form, and we knew who the parishes were, the pastor, the phone number, and all they filled out. And then we hand deliver those to the parishes.
45 parishes?
So 45 schools right now.
45 schools. Okay.
Yeah, right now I think we just had 6 parishes, but they're
Our goal this year is Paris.
parishes, right? Because we've pretty much succeeded. The challenge is they go, can I get 5 more? 5 more? Oh my gosh.
So you give them to the school and then they pass it around to the different groups?
Classes. So what we did when we had the QR code, sign up the principals, put their name, their phone number, and who their religion person was that would be in charge, so that they would then, we'd have a way to contact them. But they do that. They take them from week to week to week. And for them, it's a blessing because they're looking for a way to further engage the students in prayer, right? So it really is beautiful.
And Serra Spark has curriculum.
Right, so that's
When the troubling chalice.
and that was a great help, was using the Spark.
Okay, well, I think we passed the time a little bit, but thank you so much.
So
Thank you.
Serra,
Yes.